This is The Archive. Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the second hour of The Archive, the show where we dive deep into K-pop and K-content with in-depth analysis, unique stories, hidden meanings, and fresh insights, all from our very own library studio. In our second hour, it's time for our weekly segment, The K-Screen, where we dive into popular K-dramas, movies, and variety shows. And like we have mentioned through the program, we'll be featuring an iconic film, drama, or variety show with our very own AJohn joining us very, very soon. For those who want to tune in, we recommend listening to our online stream at arirang.com/radio. And if you would like to watch the visual radio, please check out our official YouTube channel, Arirang Radio K-pop. Most importantly, we have an Instagram account at thearchive_8f, where we post highlight clips of our show. You can send us a direct message if you have a message you would like read on air or any song request. Plus, we also have a link tree in our Instagram bio where you can find the Google form link for our weekly Wednesday segment, The Anonymous. That is tomorrow, everyone. So please go ahead and send in your stories, concerns, and worries. Whatever it is, it's going to be anonymous. So everyone, make sure to send them in right now. Before we move on, I want to tell you a little bit about our weekend segment. On Saturday, we have The Word Chain, a fun listener game where we build a playlist based on words shared in Instagram comments, but we actually switched it up a little bit to make it into a very much more easier, narrower channel. Go to our link tree in our Instagram bio. There is a form and a spreadsheet available for you to play the game, so please check it out. On Sunday, we have the mood board coming up, where listeners send in the song requests and stories inspired by a keyword or image posted on our Instagram. This Sunday's mood board keyword is home, and I've read so many messages coming in already. A big thank you on behalf of our team. The deadline for the word chain is at 6 p.m. every Thursday, and the mood board is at Friday, 6 p.m. every day. That is KST, Korean Standard Time. So those submissions, please get them in before it's too late at our Instagram account, again at the archive_8f. It is time, everyone, to invite our very own AJohn into the studio as we take a listen to this incredible song coming from Kim Won-jun. Here goes Show. Korean content, whether it's K-movies, K-dramas, or K-variety shows, has grown in ways no one could have imagined over the past few years. While many people enjoy this content, not everyone takes the time to fully appreciate its deeper cinematic details. To help us break down some of Korea's most popular K-content, we have our very own AJohn joining us in the studio. Good afternoon, AJohn!
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm so sorry. There it is.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes.
All right. So good to have you here with us, AJohn.
Yes. Well, I'm very nervous, as you guys can probably tell. And yes, good afternoon.
A proper hello to our listeners. Looking into the camera, please.
Hello. Hey, guys. My name is AJohn. I was born in Korea, raised in New Zealand, and maybe some of the reasons you guys might be familiar with this face is because I used to be the writer and on-air broadcaster on a Good Morning Seoul, our morning Arirang Radio's morning radio show. So yeah, but now I'm here as the writer, and I'm excited to be here because we have a lot of interesting content coming up.
We truly do, don't we? We've put in a lot of time and effort into preparing for this specific segment today.
Yes.
But before anything, man, people might be curious. Why is your name AJohn?
Yes, so a lot of people might know me as John, and yes, well, John is my English name. Actually, a lot of the close friends around me actually know me as AJohn, and the reason is because there's actually 3 reasons.
Okay, 3 reasons.
But I usually tell people the first and the main one, but the main one is because back in middle school in New Zealand, there was 2 Johns in our class, and basically we had a debate about who would be called John. And we came to a conclusion, right? And we came to a conclusion that both of us, actually none of us will be called John.
Oh, that's fair.
And we decided that the other guy who was Park, he was white, we decided that he will go with the nickname Johnny.
Johnny.
And we decided that I will go with the nickname AJohn.
Oh, please don't tell me that A stands for, please.
Yes, and the reason because it was the Asian John.
Asian John.
Yeah. It wasn't a racist thing, nor
Okay.
it didn't mean anything. It was just something that just kind of caught on, and a lot of people. It was just a funny nickname amongst our friends. And the other two kind of lighter reasons was because if you say AJohn like repeatedly, very quickly, it sounds like Asian. AJohn,
actually
AJohn, AJohn. It sounds
does.
kind of like Asian. It's a little bit of an
Okay.
inside joke, and the other one is because. Growing up, I did radio in middle school and high school as well. And because I love talking, I would say a lot of interesting things, interesting facts. And people would always be like, hey, John. And yeah, those are the three reasons.
That's funny.
And yeah, that's why I became AJohn.
Exactly. And everyone, AJohn, he was raised in
New Zealand.
New Zealand. And our very own listener, our family, Sweet as Mass, is saying John is so common here in New Zealand. Clarifying on that.
Yeah, so I was born in Korea, but I was raised in Hamilton, New Zealand. So I don't know if people know where Hamilton is. It's a
Okay.
very small city. A lot of people in actually New Zealand call it the Tron. And yeah, it's a very local area. There wasn't a lot of Asians at our school nor growing up. So yeah, I got the real kind of local experience. But yeah, and it's interesting being on a non-news show. It's the first time actually not being on a news show. So I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people's messages, and it's very different to how it was in other shows that I've been on.
Very casual, isn't it?
Very.
Our listeners are actually asking, so there was a B John? Was there a B John?
There was never a B John.
Okay,
it
guys.
was just the Asian John. Yes, me.
That is the one and only A John joining us today.
Yes.
Mochiana says, interesting background story. A John would have to agree.
Yeah.
And Yanika say, A John.
Exactly.
Okay, I guess you're already beloved by our listeners. We're going to have A John joining us in the studio all the way through Tuesday up to Friday, if I'm correct, for the
Yes.
second hour. And for today, we have prepared very interesting K content for all of our listeners, right?
Yes, we do. So today we'll be talking about a very popular variety show. So it's going to be a variety show, and some would even go as far as calling it South Korea's most legendary and influential variety show.
Okay.
And while this was in many people's eyes the Nationals variety show, it actually came to an end in 2018.
Oh, that's a big hint
13
now.
Yes, 13 years after its launch. Until this day, it is actually seen to be NBC's one of greatest TV content that they've ever filmed.
Ooh.
This variety program was also so popular at its peak. They received nearly 29% viewership rating. And to put into perspective, viewership variety shows typically struggled to surpass 10%. So hitting nearly 30% was a massive, massive achievement.
And you heard that correctly, everyone. That's nearly 29% viewership.
Exactly. So we have a lot of kind of hints here. It was a variety show. It kind of finished in 2018. Very popular. And I think a lot of our listeners already kind of got the hint, right?
I'm pretty sure they knew from the start.
Yes.
So shall we reveal the name of the show?
You guys can probably guess it is the one and only Infinite Challenge, 무한 도전.
There it is.
Yes.
무한 도전, everyone. This is a show that we are going to be talking about today. A legendary show.
Legendary show. And I'm surprised our listeners even guessed before we gave any hints.
Right?
So I'm kind of
So
shocked,
very
but
smart.
it is a very, very popular show. But in case for those people who might not be too familiar or have forgotten it because it actually did end 7 years ago, it was a show known for its unscripted challenges, physical comedy, and social satire, often pushing its cast members to their limits with extreme missions and unpredictable games and large-scale projects. Another reason many loved Infinite Challenge was that beyond being a variety show, it tackles societal issues, raised awareness on important topics, and even inspired real-world actions such as large-scale charity initiatives and labor experience projects.
Exactly. This show was beloved by so many people, not only because, they were just making fools out of themselves, but
Right.
it had actual meanings
It
behind
did.
every episode, some sort of a societal value that they were really promoting,
Right.
trying to raise social awareness of all these important issues. And that's what made this show go super viral. Every weekend, I remember, because I was in Canada,
Right.
we didn't have access to satellites. At the time, they had like these video shops where they would record all these
Right,
shows,
right.
and then you have to rent it out a
Yep,
week
yep.
later. So I remember waiting till Monday and just rushing after school to go rent out 무한도전 videos.
Exactly. It was so popular. And there's even a name for people who are kind of fandoms of it growing up, right?
Yes.
Which is called?
무도 키즈.
Yes, Mudo Kids.
I'm a big time Mudo kid, Infinite Challenge kid.
I'm currently not. Well, I didn't really grow up with 무한도전. I was actually more of a Running Man fan growing up.
Were you?
But I do know that one of our other anchors at Arirang Radio, Kim Jin announcer, she is a Mudo kid and she loves it and she rewatches a lot of the videos till this
지인
day.
작가님.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So a lot of people rewatch the clips again and again. So yeah, there's a big fandom that still is kind of alive.
Even myself, guys, nowadays when I'm eating alone at home, obviously because I'm living alone, not because I have no friends, I would always turn on those highlight clips of
Right.
the show because there are so many legendary clips. Those are just timeless, aren't they?
Exactly. And because the show went for 13 years, you can rewatch the old clips and, you know, they're just still so funny.
Our listeners are asking, who is your favorite member out of all? We'll kind of let you know right after this song. How about that? 무한도전, as you guys all know, Infinite Challenge came up with so many great music through many music festival segments. And this song is one of my absolute favorites. Coming from 이유 같지 않은 이유, 박명수 and IU, here goes 레옹. 박명수, the member of Infinite Challenge, and the legendary IU singing 레옹. The team's name was 이유 같지 않은 이유 because every festival they had to make their own team names, and that's why the name is a little bit confusing. But this was 박명수 and IU singing 레옹. Alrighty, back to the question. Right?
Yes.
Concerning your favorite member, I already announced through my previous shows that my favorite was 박명수. Because it's just hilarious seeing him just raging at everyone on the show.
Right. I would say I think my favorite, person was Haha. I think growing up, Haha had a very good 막내 역할. Like, he was always the youngest of the group, and I feel like I resonated with that a lot. And he was kind of like the black sheep of the group, but
He really
everybody
was.
loved him so much. And also because I also saw him a lot in other variety shows.
Right.
And also, while he does kind of act a little bit up in these variety shows, if you see a lot of his interviews, he's actually really, really deep.
He is. He's
He's
very down to
extremely
earth too.
Right. And he's very artsy in a lot of ways. So yeah, I think I would have to go with Haha.
All right. So you have a huge 박명수 fan and a Haha fan sitting in the studio together right now. Before anything, we need to dive into the early phase, the beginning of this legacy, right?
Yes.
Would you please take it away for us?
Right. So when we look at cast members and directors, we have to start with the producers.
Yes, of course.
Often considered the key factor in determining a variety show's success. And this show began in 2005 under the producer Chang Hyung-chul.
Oh.
And the thing is, there isn't actually a lot of widely available detailed information about him as a producer beyond his early involvement in the Infinite Challenge. So then, you guys might be wondering, okay, what has he done? Who is he? Well, Chang Hyung-chul was the original PD for the Infinite Challenge when it first aired in April of 2005 under the name 무모한 도전, Reckless Challenge.
So in the beginning, it had a different name.
Yes, it did.
무모한 Challenge.
Right.
Reckless Challenge.
Exactly. And at the time, the show focused heavily on more highly physical, nearly impossible tasks inspired by Japanese variety shows, which were very popular at the time, such as racing a subway train, competing against professional athletes,
Yes.
trying to break unusual world records, and so on and so on. And the emphasis was on physical comedy and the slapstick humor with little storytelling or character development.
Okay.
However, the show suffered a low viewership rating and mixed responses, with many saying that the extreme physical challenges were seen as repetitive and some audience found them too predictable. While they were entertaining at first, it was getting very predictable and people did not like it as much.
I guess it was an era where, slapstick comedy used to work back in the days.
Right.
But at this one point, every quality content kind of leaned towards storytelling. And I guess in the beginning, it kind of lacked that aspect.
Exactly.
Right? Interesting. And then there was a huge turn in the show, if I'm correct.
Yes, exactly. This is in 2006. A year later, the legendary producer, now the legendary producer, Kim Tae-ho PD님, took over over the show.
All right.
So let's get into who he is. So Kim Tae PD, who graduated from Korea University with a degree in journalism and broadcasting. And the reason we put it in there is because it's a decent university, Korea University.
Oh, it's a very well reckoned.
Well-recognized university. And and he started working at NBC in early 2000s, eventually becoming a variety show producer. When he took over the variety show, along with changing the name, what we know as Infinite Challenge, he also transformed this variety show from a low-rated physical challenge program into Korea's most beloved show.
And he was also very much kind of mentioned out to the public by the members too.
Exactly.
He was always his name was always on probably every single episode, mentioning the PD's name, right? Tae
Exactly.
PD name. Very, very cool. He is also considered one of the first star producers, if you really think about it.
Even though he was a producer, he had a lot of clips where he would be in front of camera, or his name would be, like you mentioned a lot.
In front of camera quite often too.
Exactly, yeah. But you guys might be wondering then, how did he change this, this show? Then, well, he moved beyond from simple stunts, creating more immersive experimental formats, such as time travel specials, hidden camera pranks, and real life job experiences. And we remember those hidden camera pranks.
We do.
Extremely entertaining.
We love those.
Exactly. And he focused on the unscripted, reality-based comedy, emphasizing long-term storytelling and project-based episodes that incorporated social and cultural commentary, global influence, and musical collaborations. It wasn't a one-off episode. A lot of them were a series that just took weeks and maybe even as long as months.
Long-term projects, right?
Exactly. And he focused on the storytelling, which is different to the previous PD, but also it is something that a lot of the fans loved. And this transformation cemented Infinite Challenge as the legendary show that we know today, establishing Kim Tae PD님 as one of the greatest variety show producers in Korean TV history. And his mastery of blending comedy, realism, and experimental storytelling redefined the standard for variety programs.
Exactly. And, his legacy is still going on because he actually set up his own company right now. And most of the biggest YT shows out there for the Korean viewers, I think like a significant amount is produced under his company, under his direction.
Exactly. And a lot of the times until then, I think a lot of people didn't really understand, or maybe just didn't really take into serious how the importance of a producer. But he was one of the first big producers who really showed that a PD's yokkal is extremely important, and he is definitely the person who, everything that he touches, he's just a masterpiece.
Exactly. And you can definitely tell that the members also loved him very much, considered him a brother.
Exactly.
Because the synergy and, the conversations they were sharing on air was just incredible. It's just so funny. It's just she's having so much fun together.
Right, it is.
And that casual charm really bought the hearts of many, many viewers. We gotta talk about the main cast, of course, right?
Yes, so we did mention two early on, but when looking at the members, there were a lot of people that actually came in and out during the 13 years. But it all started with 6 members: 유재석, 박명수, 정준하, 하하, 정영돈, and Dongcheol.
Okay, so let me just show our listeners from the right, that is 정준하.
Yes.
The one left to him is Kil, and then 하하, 유재석, 박명수, Dongcheol, and 정형돈.
Yes, exactly. And it's hard to go through every single member about everything about them, but if we start from the start, Yoo Jae-seok was the main MC, keeping everything balanced, leading chaotic missions while making sure everyone got a lot of screen time with his quick wit, amazing chemistry with guests, and the ability to handle unexpected moments, making him a legendary variety show host. And every member played their part extremely well.
Right.
Park Myung-soo was the sharp-tongued second in command. Well,
was he really in second in command?
As from his own words, second in command, yes. And known for his kind of grumpy sarcasm.
He's like the grumpy hyung of the team, right? But he's so very charming. I love him.
It is, and a lot of people love the fact that while he was kind of, he had a sharp mouth, he was a bit aggressive, but the thing is, everybody knew that he was kind and soft on the inside.
And there are so many stories out there where people actually met him in person and they say he's a tsundere. Have you heard of the term tsundere?
Right.
It's like, he's very hard on the outside, but he really looks after others.
Exactly.
So such a kind person at the bottom of his heart, people say.
I think he had a lot of even like a lot of the hidden camera episodes that there was. He had a lot of subtle things that could obviously tell that he was just a genuinely nice person. But if we move on to other members, there's Hongjuna, who embodied the bad luck and clumsiness, while Haha played the mischievous troublemaker and the annoying little brother role. Chung Yong-don was quick, unwitted with sharp comebacks, and Dong-cho, with his boundless energy, was the unpredictable wild card.
Would have to say.
Exactly.
Do Hong-chul, he's incredible. I really like Do Hong-chul, especially nowadays, because he has one of the most interesting lives out there. He has his own company. He set up his house like an exhibition hall where people can actually come swing by. Recently, he also set up a very mini tiny theater in his house.
Right.
And he opened it up to the public saying, if you have anything you want to see in the theater, DM me. Like things like this. Like
Exactly.
he's so innovative and so creative, and he's traveling everywhere around the world, holding exhibitions in like, what was it? I think it was like Paris or Milan. I don't know, man. The guy is so cool. I love the
So interesting, yes. And also, you guys might be wondering, okay, what about Kil, right? And Kil wasn't actually one of the original members. He joined the group in 2009, and he is considered one of the main members when we look at, Muan Infinite Challenge itself. He was known for his quiet but muscular, tough yet reserved figure who rarely spoke, but when he did, his unexpected humor stole the spotlight.
Exactly. I mean, the funny thing is, Kil is and was a very well-known rapper in the hip-hop industry.
Artist, yeah.
Prior to getting on board with Blandoji, he was just like a serious artist who was always just killing it with his music.
Yeah.
But on the show, he made himself, I think he took it more easier.
Right.
And he brought out that reverse charm, that comedic side of himself. And that just went crazy. Many of the highlights are based on Kil's comments.
Exactly.
Because he made the most awkward, unexpected, unpredicted comments.
Exactly, because he was very quiet, and also he's a big dude. He's a muscular
He is.
dude. So because he's quiet, a lot of people think that he might be intimidating, but he had some very funny lines that broke through.
So I guess this was the breakthrough for him to really bring out that Kil as a person rather than a musician.
Exactly.
But again, guys, as you all know, Kil is such a fascinating rapper and a singer, and I had to play out this song. We'll take a listen to Lee Sang featuring BMK Kwangdae Clowns. And just everybody, that was Kwangdae Clown by Lisa featuring BMK. The voice that you just heard singing in the back, that was Kil. What a charming, crazy, charismatic voice, right? Incredible, isn't it? The reason why we actually brought up the K-Screen Corner is because, in general, I think music is often overlooked in K content. Meaning people only pay attention to K-pop artists. So we kind of want to spotlight music that are paired with these amazing K-screen contents, right? And I believe Infinite Challenge also took heavily of the importance of music for the program itself.
Exactly, yeah. When we look at the Infinite Challenge, one of the most memorable major events that they hosted was the Infinite Challenges Music Festival. And this was one of the most iconic events in Korean variety show history, held every 2 years. And these festivals feature the cast collaborating with famous musicians to create and perform original songs. And many of these songs became huge hits on Korean music charts, showing Infinite Challenge's influence on K-pop. I'm sure you probably remember a lot of the musics or, a lot of the festivals that went.
I do.
I remember it was nearly impossible to get any tickets. And I really wanted to go, but never had the chance to.
So it was called Budo Gayeoje, right?
Yes.
And if I'm correct, it came every 2 years?
Every 2 years,
Every
yes.
2 years. And the ticketings were insane. Some of my friends made it in Korea, who I was keeping in touch with. They said it was crazy. I mean, seeing the biggest stars.
Right.
The biggest comedians and biggest musicians coming together for collaborations was incredible, isn't it? I wish it was still here.
I wish as well.
I would wait in line for, 18 hours just to get in there.
From my understanding, 2015 was like the last event. And unfortunately, I came to Korea in 2016 December.
Oh, did you?
So I was really hoping that they would have one in 2017, but like unfortunately they didn't. But yeah, I remember really, really wanting to go when I was in New Zealand.
Only if, right?
Only
if. I guess the reason why Kim Tae-ho PD-님 actually incorporated and brought on that music aspect is because the members were they were already quite skilled in music.
Right.
They had great musical backgrounds.
Exactly, yeah. If you think about some of the members, like Park Myung-soo is a popular music producer, and he's also a very, very popular, famous club EDM DJ in Korea.
That is very true.
He's very popular.
Also, he's a great singer, guys. He always like makes fun of himself singing by cracking his voice. I think it's done intentionally because
Right.
if you check out his actual ballad tunes, he's got an incredible voice.
Exactly. He's an extremely, extremely well-known musician. And haha, if you think about it, at one point he was the most popular Korean reggae artist.
Oh,
if
true.
Not the most, I'll say. And while Kil was also a popular hip-hop artist that we mentioned at the start of the show.
As a member of Lisang.
Exactly. And the thing is, they, the main cast members teamed up with one of the most, the top Korean artists at the time, including G-Dragon, IU, Giant T, and so much more to make original music every 2 years, with every festival having different themes, collaborations, and legendary performances.
Exactly. And our listener Jun is mentioning that's the reason why G-Dragon is trying to recreate with Good Day, the series that's going on right now.
Right.
He paired up with Kim Tae-ho-nim again to put together a music festival because of this glorious memory of
Exactly.
무도 가요제, I'm assuming.
If you think about it, we have very popular music, summer, like pool party festivals and a lot of major festivals these days. And I think at the time, this was kind of the start of it.
Really
This
was.
Every 2 years, at the heat of the summer, it was just these festivals. And you're going to see some great music, great artists. So yeah, it was extremely exciting for many people. But, there's a lot of music that stand out. So if we just go through some of the music and some of the years that we
Please,
remember it.
take it away.
In 2007, so a long time ago, in 2007, during the Gangwon-do Music Festival, there was the 압구정 날라리 by Yoo Jae-seok, as well as the story of a short kid, 키 작은 꼬마 이야기 by Haha.
That's 2007. Everyone, 압구정 날라리 is a collaboration between Yoo Jae-seok and the singer-songwriter Ijog. Story of a short kid, 키 작은 꼬마 이야기 was also crazy good.
Crazy classics that everybody's, a lot of people still listen to this day. In 2009, during the Olympic Daedo Music Festival, there was the 냉면 by Park Myung-soo and Jessica, a former member of Girls' Generation.
냉면.
Such a good
it's
song.
a perfect summer bop.
I believe it was like the song that everybody listened to. Me personally, I was never a fan of naengmyeon, like the dish itself.
Okay.
But this song,
냉면 in English, that's cold buckwheat noodles,
yes.
right?
And I believe that this song is just one of the things that everyone just kind of used to listen to, and also got a lot of people into naengmyeon, the dish itself.
Yes.
In 2011, during the West Coast Highway Music Festival, there was the Having an Affair, 바람 났어, by Park Myung-soo and GD.
나 오늘 바람 났어.
Exactly.
Legendary.
Legendary songs. And in 2013, during the Freeway Music Festival, there was the I Got See by Park Myung-soo again, and Primary.
I remember that stage.
I Got See, yes.
I got see. Yeah.
And in 2015, probably, in my opinion, probably the best year
Was it?
during the Yeongdong Expressway Music Festival, there was the I'm So Sexy by Yoo Jae-seok and JYP.
Yes.
Raeong by Park Myung-soo and IU.
That would play for you, right?
Exactly. Sponsored by Haha and Giant T. And finally, 맙소사 by Kwanghi, GD, and Taeyang.
I remember that clearly. 맙소사. The 88 trio, meaning these three members, Kwanghi, GD, and Taeyang, they were all born in the year 88.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This year was probably the songs that was basically my playlist, these songs right here. And it was so good back in the days. But I do want to throw the question to you. What was your favorite song?
My favorite song out of all. I actually have, one of the 무한도전 songs, Infinite Challenge songs. If somebody was to ask me, what are your top 3 favorite K-pop songs?
Right.
One of them is in there.
Ooh.
And I do not want to reveal
Spoil
it
it
right
right now?
now. I'm going to keep it till the very end of the show if that's
Yes,
okay with you. But
that's
let me
totally
ask
fine.
the question to you. What was your favorite out of all?
I think my favorite was 냉면. Yes,
Ah,
냉면 by Park Myung-soo
냉면.
and Jessica. First of all, I loved Jessica growing up
Okay.
in Girls' Generation, and also the song was just the summer song at the time, and it was so popular.
Mm-hmm. Our listener Jun is mentioning Kwangi used to be a regular cast for a short period too, 100%.
Yes, he was at the end. Yes.
He was. Also, Siska says 비빔냉면 is okay, 물냉면, bye.
Yeah, so personally, I also can't eat naengmyeon like 물냉면 that much.
Really?
The buckwheat noodles because they kind of my teeth aren't the best. So I'm not really good at cutting the noodles
okay.
and because they're very thin. But there's a recent trend going around where you cut the noodles extremely small
Right.
and you eat it with a spoon,
Spoon.
and that's actually really good way of eating it. And now I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oof, good for you. Because, I'm 100% 물냉파. Meaning I
Really?
love that 물 watery 냉면. The
Right.
sourness.
Yes.
Love it. We need that because the weather's warming up for sure. And yes, there it was, the summer tune. Nationwide summer anthem, we would even say. That was 냉면 by Byungka Drive, Park Myung-soo and Jessica collaboration. I see many of you guys singing along with us right now. Chris says, love this song. Amazing. We have Yana going, 냉면, 냉면, 냉면.
Such a great song.
It really is a great song. Great taste in music, AJohn, by the way. Sohyun says 물냉면, the sour watery 냉면, and 갈비 is a great combination. Ooh.
Yeah, also with Korean barbecue, your pork belly, any type of meat, I think goes really well.
Or simply mandu, dumpling.
Ooh, dumplings as well.
Dumplings
yes.
and 비빔냉면, the spicy one. Oh,
I'm so hungry. I
A
feel like it was a
combination.
wrong choice to pick because now I'm extremely hungry.
well, before you pass out, we're going to
Yes.
move on to some more information. I do want to kind of mention out some iconic lines and memorable clips that we can really kind of, cherish on.
Right, so if you think about 무한도전, everybody kind of thinks about the iconic hand gesture. We all know while they're saying the show their name, which is 무한도전.
Right? Making that
Yes.
like fireball kind of hand gesture, right?
Exactly. And this became an iconic extremely quickly, and it became a huge trend among the younger generation to do this in everyday life before doing a specific challenge. And if you think about iconic catchphrases, there are so many that we can also think about.
Are there any that come straight to you right now?
There's a lot, but one that does really come to mind is, your favorite is Park Myung-soo. And when Park Myung-soo says 뭘 봐? Like, 뭘 봐? Like, what are you
뭘 봐?
looking at? It's such an iconic line, right?
That is. I mean, whenever he has nothing to say, he suddenly looks at the other member. He's like, 뭘 봐?
Exactly.
What you looking at?
And it's so funny. But to give some context, yes, Park Myung-soo known for his like grumpy yet lovable character. And he became famous for his like over-the-top reactions to things, especially when he gets annoyed. And his catchphrase 뭘 봐? What are you looking at? Became his signature angry line. And the line is usually delivered with a forceful tone, followed by a comedic attempt to intimidate someone. But the end of the day, everyone knows that he's a very sweet person at heart, and nobody really thinks he's truly scary.
True.
And it was perfectly shown with the unscripted nature of the show as well. You see him get into these little arguments with other members, and they were just so funny.
Hilarious, isn't it? Infinite Challenge did a great job in also bringing in special guests all
Yes.
over the world. And there are so many names to mention. Would you please mention out some for us?
Yeah, so there were a lot of global celebrities that actually came onto the show, such as Jack Black
Here
himself.
it is, everyone. That is Jack Black
Jack
with the
Black
members right now.
himself. Yes, very famous lines. There were a lot of other celebrities that you guys can probably mention.
The football player,
Yes.
Thierry Henry,
Yep.
representing the French national team.
The legend himself, yes.
We also have Maria Sharapova for the tennis star. We had Paris Hilton on
Paris
the
Hilton.
show.
The very beautiful Korean hanbok. Yes.
Exactly, that is hanbok, Korean traditional clothing. Also, we had
Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao doing a boxing show.
Very scary man. Oh, very lovable man, but very scary in the ring. Yes.
And I think this was like a scene where they had to make that eye gaze to kind of, dominate
Stare
the other.
down, yeah.
Exactly. And that was that. And then we also had
The Curry brothers.
Curry
yes.
Brothers, everyone. Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, we had a lot of the big celebrities that come onto the show. And, when they come onto the show, they have a lot of different locations. But when you think about Infinite Challenge's location, there's one that really comes into mind, which
They were everywhere. Which
Exactly.
place do you think
Yes, so when you think about like their shows, they did go globally, like exploring all over Seoul and all over Korea as well, showing them different parts. But one that became kind of iconic is the NBC building, the station's building, because the building itself became an iconic backdrop for multiple episodes, seeing the members run around the building, talking to regular employees, and just kind of having fun. And it opened up a new door to a lot of the other variety shows, such as Running Man, who also kind of followed suit in a similar sense.
100% agreed.
And they also traveled a lot internationally as well, seeing them travel all over the country, such as, going to Namsan Tower, going to Jeju-do Island, also seeing them travel internationally, going to, the Great Wall of China, the US, Tokyo,
India,
Vietnam, Thailand, Mongolia, Indonesia, France, Australia, and New Zealand as well.
They were in New Zealand.
The Aotearoa.
I mean, they were also in outer space. Do you know that episode where they had to go to like Russian Space Center?
Oh, really?
And they were able to kind of experience that zero gravity phase. And that was also hilarious. If you haven't checked it out, I'm pretty sure you haven't because you're a Running Man fan.
Yeah.
But I highly encourage you to go check it out because, man, that's hilarious.
They were so funny at the time. And they had such an influence that they had a lot of budget, I would assume, to do these like major projects that a lot of the variety shows at the time couldn't.
Exactly. And thus it became the legendary show, which did close down in 2018, was it?
Yes, in 2018, but it stayed in a lot of people's heart.
And the members are still so good together. They meet up regularly and they each have their own like YT channel, so they go and support each other, and that just makes the fans so very happy. As a true Budo kid, I can assure you that they are really I don't know, like they mark our childhoods.
Exactly. And them having this idea of once they're members, once they're family, they'll always be family. So you do see them kind of support each other on social media and other platforms, always having each other's back as well.
Exactly. Well, AJohn, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for that amazing, informative second hour for K-Screen.
It was extremely fun, extremely nerve-breaking, but so much fun.
Exactly. And that brings the end of the archive today. Tomorrow, guys, we'll be back in the studio for The Anonymous, where we'll get to listen to your worries and stories and concerns. Please go ahead, share your thoughts right now. We'll be open till the very beginning of tomorrow's show, right? Yes. So go check out our Instagram account at thearchive_8F. Linktree, go in there, check for Wednesday's submission. Send in whatever you feel like doing so. And to leave you off, I'm going to play my absolute favorite song from 무한도전 Infinite Challenge. It's got to be 빠리 돼지행, a collaboration between 정영돈 and 정재형. 순정 마초 it is. Shall we say goodbye together?
Yes.
Sounds giddy. Thanks for tuning in again, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. KST. This is Yohan Lee and
AJohn.
checking out. Bye-bye.
Bye.